Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. My name is Tala and I'm a member of Team Sharjah, a group of faculties and students from the University of Sharjah participating in the Solar Decathlon Middle East with Project SHARE that will be presented in the Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park in Dubai in November 2021. As part of the competition, Team Sharjah decided to launch SHARE on Air, which is a series of interviews with our team sponsors, supporters, and friends. Prior to the launch of this initiative, the Sharjah Architectural Student Association interviewed Dr. Vittorino Belpoliti, an assistant professor at the University of Sharjah at the Architectural Engineering Department and the project manager of Team Sharjah. The team decided to repost these interviews in two parts. Here is the first. We hope you enjoyed this interview and please stay tuned to more interviews coming your way. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to SAS's first architectural engineering podcast interview. As we mentioned earlier, this podcast is going to be a mixture of different interviews, different architecture topic, and we thought what way to start is best than interviewing one of our very own assistant professors in the department about their experience going through an international competition, which is the SDME. The Solar Decathlon Middle East is a competition where groups of students design a sustainable living habitat in the form of a building, and they implement all of the things they learned that have to do with sustainability throughout the period. So can you please explain to us Team Sharjah's vision about the future home?
So first of all, I just wanted to point out that usually in these occasions I wear a more formal attire, but specifically for this particular occasion, I decided to wear the team official uniform. I hope you can see the logo of the t-shirt. This to remark the fact that either you are a student or a faculty, it doesn't matter. We are all equally important team members in the team. And this is a first message that we want to communicate with our vision. But coming more to your questions, so related to the house of the future, well, I think it can be summarized with three basic concepts, which are sustainability, innovation, and inclusivity. Now, let me elaborate a bit. The project goes by the name of SHARE, which is the Sustainable Habitat for the Adaptive Regeneration of the Environment. And the name says it all. But in a few words, regarding sustainability, for example, the approach is a very literal interpretation of sustainability. So to sustain, where this house will self-sustain. And it will do this by educating its occupants to a more healthy and aware lifestyle, more awareness on resource consumption, for example, and with the objective of minimizing the resource waste. And at the same time, by promoting a self-regeneration cycle of resources, thanks to innovative devices that we're going to implement in the house, so that the residual waste of resources used in the house gets regenerated into a new resource available for another use. And when I'm talking about resources, I mean all of them. Of course, if we're talking about energy efficient building, which is the main objective of the Solar Decathlon competition, you're thinking of electricity, energy that goes into air conditioning, lighting, appliances in the house. And this energy will be produced as clean energy by an innovative sun tracking solar photovoltaic device. But also water. Water is a very relevant resource overall in this region. We will have water treatment systems to recycle up to 100% of the wastewater for a second use. For example, like water gardening. Or even food. Food is interesting. Yeah. The house will be provided with home farming systems so that the occupants will be able to grow their own fruits and vegetables to be used in any kind of meal cooking during the day. And every time there is a meal, there is some food waste. And once again, this food waste will be regenerated either by being transformed into compost, again, for outdoor gardening, for example, or even better, thanks to an innovative food 3D printer, it will be regenerated into new food. Oh. And last but not least, time. Time is a resource. Time is a resource we don't really talk about, but in fact, it is the most important resource for any human being. Now, we have recently faced a terrible pandemic that forced all of us starting working from home. And let me clarify, the team and I believe that this COVID pandemic has merely accelerated a process that was already happening. So in near future, 5 to 6 years, smart working from home will be much more implemented and enhanced in any sectors of our life. But all of us, due to the pandemic, experimented the situation, and we definitely managed to appreciate pros and cons of the thing. From on a side, the saving time of transportation, going back and forth to work, but also saving time in chasing people for meetings. Now you can easily get hold of anyone, just like we're doing this interview on online system, and that's a huge save on time. On the other hand, we had to face with the difficulties of transforming our living environment into a working environment every day. And every day, anytime we have a meal or we want to relax on the couch, transform it back to a house, a domestic environment. And our houses are not ready for such a challenge. So this is what we are working on at Team Sharjah. We're working on the development of an environment that will be able to easily transition from the living status to the working status. And we are pushing this concept farther with our implementation of innovative devices, so that this workshop at the end will be able to run the full industrial process, basically from even simulating the raw matter extraction and collection through the engineering of any given product, all the way to its production and fabrication. A fabrication that will happen through digital fabrication by means of 3D printers, which again are devices that we strongly believe in 3 to 5 years will be in any house. So we might as well start. And in our case specifically, those 3D printers, which are regular plastic-based 3D printers, are fed by plastic filament makers that are also produced within the house, thanks to devices which will allow us recycling shredded plastic bottles coming from the kitchen use of the same house into filaments that get then used for the fabrication of any other product, such as, if you want an example, disposable dishes or forks and knives, once again for the use in the kitchen. So you see how the regeneration process works also at this stage, where an initial resource get in the process of the living and professional activity of the house be regenerated in something that can be useful once again for the same house. Let me just add one last thing. All those above mentioned things are very important, okay? And of course, they are essential for the purpose of the competition. But I can promise you they mean absolutely nothing if we keep them to ourselves. The most important, and I would say the umbrella concept and vision of Team Sharjah, is inclusivity. We are promoting and supporting the open source movement, which basically tells us that any results or outcome of an applied research should be made available to the community. And this is exactly what we will do. Our house will be inclusive, and our results will be shared with the community. And in our case will be the neighborhood generated by the other neighboring houses participating to the same competition. Yet again, is not necessarily always a competition, sometimes is a cooperation. And we want to make sure this message is well explained. This is why we say inclusivity, we say sharing, and this is obviously where the name of the project SHARE comes from.
That is absolutely fantastic, and the visions are amazing. The fact that you guys have already adapted to the pandemic and we're thinking about ways that we found the pandemic difficult and thinking how your visions will actually help through seamless changing of your domestic environment to your working environment. That was mind-blowing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That this is the second time you're actually managing a project with the SDME, because I know that you managed last year's Team Know House, and I know that a lot of the students that are participating in Team Sharjah, some of them also participated in Team Know House. Of course, the competition developed as it moved from one edition to the next, and I wanted to ask you, how did the team develop with the competition? What did you guys do differently now that you didn't do in Team Know House? Or what did you learn from your experience working with Team Know House and implemented it with Team Sharjah?
the Solar Decathlon 2018 was the first time for us. It was the first time for the UAE in general hosting a Solar Decathlon edition. So it was the first time for everybody. But just speaking of myself, I'm not afraid to say we made mistakes. We made mistakes in the organization. We over-evaluated things, and we did not evaluate well enough others. So for sure, for answering your question, in order to involve the entire team, we are all working towards making sure that those things that we didn't really do well or enough in the first time, we are addressing in a much more convinced and professional way. Other things that we were evaluating being more important the last time in 2018, and we were hoping that the juries would have evaluated with a greater importance and did not. We are kind of taking care of course, but with allocating different time, different resources, different attention in general. For one, I have to say what I improved is I learned to be a better project manager, and be a better project manager means being able to delegate, and delegating implies that you have to trust people in doing responsible and relevant things. So you have to trust them with their responsibility, and you have to be prepared and know that overall as a teacher, mistakes will happen, but it's okay. It's okay. It's more important having a shared cooperation rather than managing everything and making sure everything gets done as you wish. Now, to this regard, I have many colleagues that are helping me, as well as there is a larger involvement of departments at the university level. And I think this deserves to be mentioned. The Sustainable and Renewable Energy Engineering is basically sharing the management burden with us for this 2020 edition of the Solar Decathlon. But there are also other departments which are throughout the university, not only the College of Engineering. So there are many different tasks in this project that need to be addressed by specific persons. And I think this time we managed to create a very competitive, multidisciplinary team, which not only better represents than the university, than just the architecture and engineering department, but will be better also evaluated by the competition jury.
Yeah. So you guys managed to have a very, a variety of students working on this, ranging from different departments to be able to help with different things. That's fantastic. The thought process behind that is amazing. You guys obviously thought of inclusivity, as you mentioned earlier in the first. Thank you so much, Dr. Vito. It was a pleasure having you today. If you want to learn more about Team Sharjah, actually, all their links will be listed in the description, from their Instagram to their newsletter to their website. Keep updated with everything that they're doing. We can't wait to show you the final project, and we hope that you guys will experience it with us as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Vito. It was a pleasure having you once again. And hopefully, I can't wait to see everything that you guys are going to achieve in the future.